Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today we are talking a 2019 musical biopic. We are talking a movie of a living musical legend, and as you can see behind Susan there, we are talking about Rod Stewart.
No, no. His name is his name is Reginald.
Actually, he could use a biopic as well.
Yeah, Reginald. Oh, Rod Stewart.
Yeah, Rod Stewart.
We are talking, of course, about the Elton John biopic, Rocketman. So, over to you, Susan and Alex.
Okay. I like this movie a lot. It's really awesome. I was part of the Boy George fan group and fandom, and for a long time, Boy George and Elton John were at complete and utter odds. You know, basically animosity in the extreme, and Elton John was not helping matters getting sober. So that was not a quality move in terms of Boy George's mindset back then, long time ago, 29 years ago or something. Anyway, so like there was just an issue there, and but it's really something special that that Taron Egerton, again, we are talking about this actor, Taron Egerton, who is so good at this. He is absolutely an amazing actor, and he captures the descent into madness of this rock star, you know. And he's pretty brilliant at portraying him. And you know, in the later, you know, parts of the movie, they're together and stuff. So it's just it's fantastic. It's really good. And it's so weird and dreamy. This movie is just like outer space dreamy. It is not actually a narrative. It isn't really a linear storytelling. It's got his you know, Elton John as a child, Reggie as a little boy shows up throughout. The teenage, you know, Reggie shows up throughout, and you know, it's just a dream state. The whole bloody movie is a dream state, and I think it's because, you know, it's supposed to be taking place in a NA or AA meeting, so that was just really interesting. And so, yeah, in a meeting at the rehab hospital. Anyway, interesting stuff, and beautiful, very pretty movie, very beautiful cinematography, and absolutely the best. The fact that Taron Egerton sings every single song in it, I mean, that in and of itself is outrageous and so good. He's just a quality actor. And here's Alex for your opening thoughts.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I do like Elton John. I do like Freddie Mercury. Do I need biopics on the two of them? Not really. But I like them for different reasons. But yeah, this is a little bit.
What about
yeah, he's a good actor. But like I said, yeah, I don't know if I liked how it was written. And then the fact that I've seen Elton John in videos and in interviews as well. And he is a little bit of an angry person, but that's the other question as to how he was raised. Was he raised with a good family life, or was it just, you know, we have to take care of him because we don't want the government involved? I'm not sure. According to a lot of notes and interviews, he didn't like his mother. Unfortunately, they didn't get along, and I guess his stepfather was barely around. But I mean, this is the other thing. If the issue also is that being different or being gay and different was not accepted in the 60s and 70s, hopefully most people got the hint by now. They don't need the biopics to remind them. Could this have been done a little better? Yes. I think it's a little too dreamlike. If it had been done 5 degrees worse, it would have been closer to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Bee Gees or whatever.
And what's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's not wrong, but it's not right. But like I said, I mean, he did do a pretty good imitation of Elton.
Yeah, he did.
It did show a lot of things, but I don't think this is historically accurate. Although I will say that my stepfather usually doesn't like English-oriented things or English artists.
Yes.
So the fact that he liked Elton John a lot was interesting.
Oh.
And it is very good music, but however, they did skip over a few things. They did skip over his sort of country-based album.
Yeah.
And I guess he also had a lot of songs that were like Billy Joel, kind of on the cusp.
Yeah.
Considering before Prince, songs about, you know, self-love or other things like that that Prince sort of made popular in the 80s. So unfortunately, I don't think these movies are geared toward me. I think they're geared toward people that were born in the 90s and only have started to notice things.
Okay.
It would be like watching if somebody thought about doing a movie about the Village People and tried to emphasize just the gay part, and I really wouldn't like that. It's okay if they include both, but I mean, you have to remember what era this was in. You have to remember what time this was in. And like I said, I think things have changed. There's only a few other groups that they might need to be socially acceptable, but I mean, this isn't the 50s, 60s, or the 70s where they still had to fight to be accepted. Now they're accepted. But yeah, I've seen him in interviews. It's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. Of course, maybe I wouldn't have any leg to stand on, pardon the expression, because I would have filmed both biopics a little differently.
Okay.
But I mean, I like it, and I like the songs. I've always liked Elton John and Freddie Mercury in terms of their singing and songs and ideas. And if that's not the real names, oh well. I don't care. They're basically known for their music, and I do really like the music. So, and I think that's the main thing that I like, and the fact that both of them deserve to be given credit for sort of continuing the idea that the Beatles set up in a way of having great songs, different songs, dramatic songs. Every song is a little different. It's not the same thing. It's not just working off the last song. So.
Okay, so quick question. Quick question. Is it the fact that they did biopics about these men who you thought were straight, but
No,
turned out they were gay?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. Because I was just curious. Because anyway.
No, but
that was sort of.
I just said it. I just said I would have done it differently. They probably wouldn't have liked it because I would have actually not shown so much of their sexuality. Because to me, the point is the music. It's not their life per se. Okay. And I'm saying that I'm giving them a compliment because I'm saying they took the idea of the Beatles or what the Beatles composed and sort of worked on the same school, not the same thing, I understand that, but the same school. And so I'm giving them a compliment. They are great.
Okay, but
I'm just saying.
But you would have left out all the sexuality stuff.
No, I'm saying I would have done it differently. Susie.
Okay, I'm just curious.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Well, it's what you want to remember. It's a biopic. It's about their lives, his life. We're talking Elton in this one.
That's Mr. Dwight.
Mr. Dwight, and his sexuality is part of his life, and it had to be shown in the movie, as it did had to be shown in Bohemian Rhapsody as well. I didn't know what to make of this movie because I didn't know what to expect. because this was on hot on the heels of Bohemian Rhapsody, wasn't it? And I really did enjoy that. I thought, is this just going to be another thing like Bohemian Rhapsody? But no, it's not. This, as Susan says, this is a dreamlike movie. It just takes you to the outer reaches, this one. But this is what Elton wanted when it was decided to make a movie of his life. He didn't want it just to be a run-of-the-mill, young kid growing up, stuff like that. He wanted it to be slightly different, and I think this is slightly different, because biopic, it is a musical as well, and dance routines and everything. Okay, they missed some things out of his life, but you can't fit everything into a movie. They've highlighted the main things. They've highlighted him growing up. They've highlighted his sexuality. They've highlighted his drug abuse, and they've highlighted
lots of drug abuse.
Lots of drug abuse. They've highlighted.
I've never seen so much cocaine in my whole dang life.
The highlighted his working partnership with Bernie Taupin, his relationship with John Reed, his marriage with Renata. It's all there. And also as well, I think they managed to get every damn costume he ever wore in this movie. Nearly every damn costume. And yeah, they've left some songs out, but they've got some great songs in here. So
and they had the big glasses, every single pair of big glasses.
Yeah, and also what Susan mentioned as well, it's not chronological, because when he's a young kid, he's singing "I Want Love," which was only released in, I think, 2001. The song, so the songs don't really relate to that era.
And in his opening at the Troubadour, they were playing sad songs or something like that, and I'm like, no, that
Crocodile Rock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's what I mean. It's not, the songs aren't chronological how they appear in the movie. I think it's just it fits the scene of that movie, which it works well. Now let's go to Taron. Oh, wow. We've said before in another cast how he just transforms into the person he's playing. You can actually believe it's Elton. The facially, and Susan has said he's singing these songs, and Elton didn't want him to just mimic him by singing. He wanted him to put himself into the songs as well. But he still gets that Elton vibe. He's still got that vibe, which is, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's a great movie. Up to now, I've watched it 3 times now. I'm just loving it. The supporting cast is brilliant. You got Richard Madden as John Reed, the scheming boyfriend sort of thing. It's first sort of true love. Jamie Bell, we all know as Billy Elliot, as Bernie Taupin. What a great friendship that. I mean, that friendship is still going strong now. And the working relationship as well. Was that just that chance meeting, from, those lyrics, what was handed to him? Well, was it maybe 60, is it 56 years? So
it was 50 years when the movie was made, so like 3 years.
So it's, to me, it's just, it's one of those films. It's very hard to describe this movie because there's so many layers of, you've got the music, you've got the dance, you've got the brilliant acting, you've got the star-studded spangled costumes, the the effects. So, but it is his life story up to, I think it's 1990, because I know he's been off drugs for 29 years, so that'll make it about 1990.
Up to the and just after the Dodger Stadium show.
Yeah.
So that was in like late '89 or early '90.
Yeah. So, but it's a marvelous movie. It really is, and it's got a lot of people saying how great this movie is. I won't be surprised if when the Oscar nominees are announced, Taron might be up there for, is it February on the Oscars, isn't it? So fingers crossed he may get announced. So over to you, Susan and Alex. Anything's what you really like about this movie? What stand out for you?
Well, like I said, I mean, it was a little different with the Rocketman, with the little kid at the bottom of the pool with the helmet on, with the glass helmet on and the piano. So I mean, if you don't mind that, I mean, again, this isn't written for me because I had already heard the '70s were great in the sense that you had all this wonderful, wonderful music that is still imitated today by boy bands or whatever else. You had, funk. You had bands that had black people and white people in it. You had Electric Light Orchestra. You had Queen. You had Elton John. You had Billy Joel. You had so many people with so many interesting songs, notes, lyrics that are still imitated today. 10,000 covers, unfortunately. Of course, Daryl Hall and John Oates did a couple of good covers of his songs. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the music I really like, even the nasty stuff. But of course, it did sort of gloss over what he did after the '90s. It did kind of gloss over the country music record that he released before it was hip. Olivia Newton-John did the same thing, if you think about it, in terms of the country music songs.
That's true.
But thankfully, she survived cancer and she's still around.
But she did Xanadu.
Right. Well, but that's 1980. But I understand what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, so the '70s.
It's all weird.
The '70s were bad in terms of the catchphrases. Some of the TV shows were very catchphrase heavy. But the music, especially, you didn't even have to look hard. You heard good music in the '70s. So it was good. And, of course, I missed all the times that they've come to Boston because it's been too many years and it's kind of expensive, Elton John and Billy Joel together in concert. But, again, this is also, 30-plus years later from when they wrote it, from when I was 6 years old or 8 years old, hearing their songs to now where I'm, yeah, it is. It's 40 years later. But that's pretty good songs, though. If you can still sing them and remember them after 30-plus years, that's some good writing. So that's what I mean when I compare them to the Beatles. It's still songs that you're singing over 30 years later. And that has to be a very good quality of song, if you think about it. Because most songs only last like 2 years, 6 years, and then everybody forgets about them. So, but yeah, I probably would have made the movie differently. But if Elton John really likes it, then the only other question I have is, how come his half-brothers or whatever don't agree with how the movie portrayed stuff? That's the only other question I have.
Well, that's got nothing to do with them, is it?
Yeah.
It's Elton John's movie, not theirs.
Yeah, well, but still, I mean, they are shown in it, so I don't know. I really don't know if it should have been included if they actually objected to it.
Well, they didn't show him in a bad light.
They.
No.
No.
Yeah.
All right, my favorite moments in this movie were things like when he was opening for all those, when he and his band were and stuff were opening for all those soul acts, and there was just so much sparkle and so much beautiful music, and oh my gosh, it was just lovely. And Taron really showed that he was digging into the soul. Part of it that was fun. Another favorite moment of mine was the how Taron recreated the "I'm Still Standing" music video shot for shot. That was freaking awesome because that was one of those things that was super frequently played on MTV.
I didn't expect that in the movie, to be honest. How they recreated it was just brilliant.
Shot for shot. I mean, absolutely second by second. It was just exact. It was anyway. That was awesome, and the fact that the little kid Reggie shows up throughout. I mean, that was really good, and that he eventually embraced his inner child and didn't, try to drown his inner child, or all those other things that happened. I don't know. It was truly immense, and I loved it. So, back over to you, Lee.
I just like the story, the way he wanted to play the piano. He could only play by ear, only what he heard when he went first to the piano teacher. Well, that's where you finished. I'm like, wow, okay, so he can play something up to whatever he hears. That's just talent.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't hold back. That's what I mean. Elton John wanted this movie to be warts and all, and it is. The drugs was part of
so much cocaine. Holy
of that lifestyle back then. But that was down to the money he was making, the money he was just wasting. I mean, he came from nothing. The success did went to his head. And to hide his sexuality as well, and to get married as well, to sort of hide it and to put his sexuality on the shelf, shall we say?
Have a beard.
Yeah, and it was sort of it didn't last long, of course, the marriage. as he said in the what was it, the drug circle of friends, was you happy when you were married? No, I'm gay. But I mean, I can understand Alex's stance on the sexuality, maybe of the sex. You don't really see anything. You don't see Richard Madden and Taron getting down and dirty. You just, to just kiss there, and it's done well. It doesn't. It's not disgusting or anything like that.
It's done a hell of a lot more tastefully than they show women usually.
Yeah, I agree there. And to get two straight actors to do that, big thumbs up there. It's just a brilliant put together movie, magical movie, a fantastical movie, and to top it all, you've got those damn good songs. Okay, you can't have every Elton John song in the movie because...
But you can't lock me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow.
Exactly. But you cannot have every song in this movie because it'd be, I don't know, this movie could last 3 weeks if you included every song by Elton John. They've picked the highlights out of his back catalogue and gone with that. The most famous sort of songs, and the most famous concerts he did and stuff like that. I adore this movie. I really do. So I think you can guess what score I'm going to give this one later. So over to you, Susan.
Okay, so do your score then. I want to hear.
Oh, Do you really want to know my score? It's going to be 10 honky cats out of 10.
Well, I'm glad we haven't gotten into a fight here because Saturday nights are all right for fighting. Oh my God, this was so fun. My bus driver in Brazil when I was living in South America used to play Goodbye Yellow Brick Road so many times. Oh my gosh. And then my parents had it, apparently some sort of tape that came with a car. I love that song. That song is my 1970s. It's amazing.
My favorite Elton John song wasn't even in this movie.
What was that?
My favorite Elton John song is "Someone Saved My Life Tonight."
Oh heck yeah! Oh yeah!
I just love that. Is 7 minutes of pure bliss for me. That song, but not in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But we talked at some length about "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me."
Mm-hmm.
In a former cast, the one for Lost Boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked a little bit about him in our podcast. So
yeah. As I say, this his songs. As soon as they start, you're there singing along.
Right.
Be it a ballad or be it an up tempo dancey tune.
Right.
You just
Oh yeah, that's right. That was another thing. In our aerobics class in middle school, we used Crocodile Rock, and it was brutal. I mean, that was like the fastest dance song in the world, and to do aerobics to that was just awful. So much energy expelled. Anyway, those are some of my Elton John stories. And to be honest, coming at this movie, having a Taron Egerton weekend, but like having this sort of come at me, as an old Boy George fan. I mean, I'm sold. I really do love Elton now, and for crying out loud, that should never have happened. I mean, I should have maintained my damn loyalty, but I never did. So anyway, here's Alex.
Where are you going with this?
Your favorite?
No, I mean,
score,
I mean, musically, I really do like, 90% of this movie. Yeah, I'd have to give this. I'll give this an 8, just because I didn't like some of the melodrama, and I would have preferred the songs a little bit more natural. But again, I know that it's really like a new version of. They probably want to do a new version of MTV. And what was it? I'm Still Standing was very big on MTV. Very big on a lot of the old days of the 80s, with the exception of David Bowie, Prince, and somebody else I forgot. I don't know. Yeah, well, Billy Joel. Yeah, a lot of people made fun of his Uptown Girl video. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if they're going to do a Billy Joel biopic. I don't know if they're going to do a David Bowie biopic. But I mean, yeah.
That would make me so happy.
Well, hold on. What's that again, Lee?
I want a David Bowie biopic.
That would make Lee very
of course, then again, I don't know if they have the clearances for the songs. But yeah, if anybody who is in their teenage, 18 or 25, you know that we're talking about, really good Western pop music, really good. Not, unfortunately, the new stuff probably, it's not too good. And you can't hear this music on the radio now unless it's a cover or it's a classic rock station. The music isn't all bad. The music isn't all bad today, but it's very rarely even half as good as these songs.
This is why I studied in the 80s.
Right. So, well, I mean, I like some '90s stuff too, but then you start getting into Spice Girls and other things like that.
You love the Spice Girls.
Yeah, I do, but I know it's corny deep down.
Okay.
So just like the Village People, which was another
Can't stop
novelty
music.
group. No, I'm not going to mention that movie.
Okay. Sorry.
The novelty group of the '70s.
Yeah. Can't stop the music.
Okay, but I'm just saying that we're mentioning it, but that doesn't mean that it's good. But what I'm saying is the music is good. The music is very, very good. And unfortunately, there's very few songs that you can hear on the regular radio that are actually good that I know I'll be talking about even 10 years from now, and never mind 40. And this is the good stuff. The 50s, 60s, and the 70s is the good, well-written, melodic, well-remembered songs. Then you have the Guess Who, and you have other Jefferson Airplane, even the Grateful Dead. Though I don't like them.
Yes.
Though I don't like them. But you know, if anybody who's in their teens or 20s, these are the songs that you will actually learn music. You will actually learn melody and harmony and rhythm and how to write actual songs. Unless you're going to listen to country, but that's a whole other kettle of fish. But it's in the school that it's worth learning from. Not like now where it's 10,000 samplings and everything is, or it's the same tone, or it's the lyrics repeat 5 billion times. It's really sad. So yeah, I mean this is the music that I grew up with. Elton John, Queen, funk, Earth, Wind and Fire. The really, really good, excellent stuff, not the mediocre stuff of today.
Okay.
Oh,
So he gave it an 8, and I'll give it 10 more than that. I will give this 18 to little Susie dancing with crocodiles and I freaking love this. I absolutely love this movie, and I think that Taron Egerton is, you know, legitimately this amazing actor. You know, I want to see everything that he does. I've seen everything that he's ever done at this point, which is like 7 movies, but they're freaking amazing. They're the whole what you call it, Kingsman series, and then there's this and Eddie the Eagle. We reviewed that earlier, and you have to go look at our podcast of Eddie the Eagle, because it's so good. That is another one where he just kicks butt. He's just such a good actor.
He's so talented and so young as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised within, I don't know, so many years' time, he will become a Knight of the Realm. I think he will become Sir Taron.
So good. Yeah.
He's just a damn fine actor.
Yeah. Yeah. So I noticed your hunky cat is in the screen, and so that.
Ask him if he's seen any of Taron's TV work, because I know he's in a couple of.
Oh, have you seen his TV work?
He's done a bit, I think, but I haven't seen it. No.
Okay, that was Alex's question. So yeah, that's my take on Rocketman. That was my take on this whole Taron weekend, and I'm really glad we did this.
I'm glad we did this. If I can put movies and music together, I'm happy. And of course, it's Elton John. So, yeah, what can we say? That has been Rocketman, the musical, fantastical biopic, you know, directed by Dexter Fletcher. You know, got to give him thumbs up again. Yeah, so please, you guys out there, if you enjoyed watching this movie, leave a comment. If you haven't seen this movie, go out and watch it. What you've been doing, you know, and when you've watched it, come back and leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of this. Let us know what you thought of these this cast. Let me know if you've got any suggestions what we could do for future ones. And if you'd like to join, as I said, just leave us a message. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place. We've got a little Facebook group, on the YouTube channel as well. You just leave us a comment anywhere you like on social media. We will find it sooner or later. We will be there, picking away through those comments. And before you know it, you could be joining this crazy, crazy train, what we call Geeks Assembled. So until next time, Susan's showing you her thumb. And you know what that means, don't you? It's time to say bye-bye. See you later, everyone. Bye now.